house rule you had as a kid that you thought was completely normal until you grew up and realized not all households followed. When I was 9, my great-aunt Emma died. I remember putting on this scratchy black dress my mom bought specifically for the funeral. Before we left, she sat me down and said something I'll never forget. "Callie, we keep it together today. No crying, no whining, no questions. We honor the dead by being strong. Crying is for people who make death about themselves." I didn't really get what she meant, but I nodded anyway. At the funeral, I sat between my parents with my hands folded in my lap, watching everyone around me. My cousins were sobbing into tissues, hugging each other, making these awful choking sounds. Adults were wiping their eyes and patting each other's backs, but I just sat there, stone-faced, like a little robot. After the service, my mom squeezed my shoulder and whispered, "That's my girl," calm and respectful. I felt proud that I'd done something right. This became our family's unspoken rule for every death after that. When our neighbor's cat got hit by a car, I stared at its mangled body without flinching. When my goldfish Bubbles died, I flushed him down the toilet like it was nothing. When my grandpa had his heart attack when I was 12, I sat in that hospital waiting room for 6 hours without shedding a single tear. My mom would always catch me if I started to crack. Once, when our dog Buster got cancer and we had to put him down, I felt this horrible pressure building in my chest as the vet gave him the shot. My eyes started watering and my throat got tight. My mom grabbed my arm so hard it left marks. Bathroom, now. I locked myself in that tiny vet office bathroom and took deep breaths until the feeling passed. When I came out, my face was neutral again. My mom smiled approvingly. She even threatened me once. I was 13 and my great-uncle died in a car accident. It was sudden and horrible, and during the viewing, seeing him all pale and still in that casket just broke something inside me. I started tearing up despite myself. My mom pulled me aside and hissed, "If you embarrass this family by blubbering like a child, don't expect to see a penny when I'm gone." Crying at funerals is selfish, attention-seeking behavior. I dried my eyes immediately. For years, I thought every family was like this. I figured crying at funerals was just something dramatic people did in movies. Then in high school, my best friend Katie's grandpa died. He'd been battling Parkinson's for years, and Katie was absolutely devastated. At the funeral, I sat next to her in my usual position, back straight, hands folded, face blank. When the pastor started talking about all the fishing trips he'd taken Katie on as a kid, she completely broke down. She was sobbing so hard her whole body was shaking. Without thinking, I leaned over and whispered, "Do you want to step out? You can compose yourself in the bathroom." Katie turned and stared at me like I'd just slapped her. Her face was red and covered in tears and snot. "Why would I leave?" she choked out. "This is my grandpa's funeral." "Because," I started, then stopped. The words died in my throat. For the first time in my life, I looked around that room and really saw what was happening. Katie's mom was crying. Her dad was crying. Her little brother was crying. Even grown men I'd never seen cry before had tears in their eyes. And they weren't leaving. They weren't hiding in bathrooms or getting pulled aside for embarrassing the family. They were just grieving, openly, like it was the most natural thing in the world. That night, I went home and Googled, "Is it normal to cry at funerals?" Every single result said yes. Articles about healthy grief, about the importance of expressing emotions, about how funerals are literally designed for people to mourn together. I felt like I'd been living in some weird alternate universe my entire life. In college, it all came crashing down. My roommate's mom died in a car accident sophomore year, and watching her grieve, really grieve, messily and loudly and without shame, something inside me just snapped. That night, I locked myself in my dorm room and cried for every single person I'd never properly mourned. Great-aunt Emma, Buster, Grandpa, even stupid Bubbles the goldfish. I cried until my eyes were swollen shut and my throat was raw. It lasted for hours, years of suppressed grief pouring out all at once. The next time I went home, I confronted my mom about it. I told her what I'd learned, how damaging her rules had been, how I'd missed out on properly saying goodbye to people I loved. She just stared at me with this cold expression and said, "If you start crying now, where does it end? You'll be a mess for the rest of your life." I moved out 2 weeks later, and the next time someone in my life died, I cried as loud and as long as I needed to.